Well, good afternoon. It's Sunday. It is the 4th of August. Journal number 129, I think. And we're T plus 124. I, I, I'm, I'm struggling with something and trying really hard not to talk about it. And I think I'm going to fail at that. So bear with me. Um, I'm home alone again. uh, Me and visions of Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, and wondering how much trouble I can get into. And with the current set of protocols that I have, there's not much I can't eat the wrong food because it's dangerous. Um, I can't go out where there's a lot of people, although I don't know that I'd want to go out in 100-degree heat right now. I can't be in the sun from 10 to 4 anyway, so that precludes that possibility. I mean, there's a lot of things that are designed to keeping me in the house. So so the high point of the day so far has been folding laundry for Leslie, who's out shopping for school clothes, um, which is interesting. Not that Leslie's going back to school. Don't misunderstand me. Um, but I want to talk about normal, and what that really means, what that's all about, because um, a lot of people have turned around and said over time, won't it be great when things go back to normal? And, won't you be happier when things go back to normal? And won't it be easier for you when things go back to normal? And I don't know about that. I'm having difficulty with that. And I'm having difficulty with the fact that I'm having difficulty with it. And let me tell you why. I'm not sure I want to go back to normal. I know that sounds insane. As I say it out loud, um, I recognize how absurd that sounds. Who wouldn't want to go back to the life they had before they were diagnosed with a crazy illness like this, or before they had the opportunity to go in for a stem cell bone marrow transplant, and before the conditioning chemo, and before the Malfolin, and before all those days as an inpatient, and then living remotely for 3 months. I mean, all of that is abnormal and patently abnormal. And yet, okay, here's the crazy part. And yet, would you want to go back to the life that you had before and the realities that you were certain of in what seems like a previous life now? You know, in what seems like a lifetime ago, if you believe that some of the changes that you've experienced, some of the profound internal beliefs and values have changed you so dramatically that where you were and what you had before aren't as attractive. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but they aren't as compelling um, as some of the realities you're confronted with now, having learned, or at least having the illusion that you've learned so much about yourself and about others in the time that you've been challenged, and the struggles that you've been challenged with. Um, and that's not to say, I don't think of myself as having been selfish before. I don't think of myself as having been um, egocentric before. I don't think of myself. I mean, I've everything that I've done in my professional life has been focused on fighting for um, service dealers' identity rights, um, helping them overcome the stereotype and the stigma that's plagued our industry for so long, um, and and gain a position of respect in the society. I think I've I've tried to work my personal life like that as well, but um, I'm not sure that I can go back to what everybody's telling me normal was before, uh, or that I want to. I have a genuine belief in the goodness of others that I'm not sure I had before. I thought all people were basically okay, but I didn't recognize the fact that the majority of people that I've come in contact with over the last 4 months have been spectacular. I mean, they've been selfless, they've been generous, they've been. It seems to me they've been searching for some way to be good, to be genuinely good, to give back, to ensure that they share whatever um, blessings they've been giving, whatever bounties they've been given with others, whether it's, you know, driving the 60, 70, 80, 400 miles to the City of Hope, or getting on an airplane from Chicago and going to the City of Hope to donate blood, or or visiting or communicating by email, or any one of a number of other, countless things that they don't have to do. That's not, part of their reality, their normal reality, and they did it anyway. They did it unselfishly. So do you want to go back to a normal that doesn't include the recognition of that? Um, I believe I've profoundly changed by what happened to me, by the events of the last 4 or 5 months, and the last 5 years as well. I mean, ever since I was diagnosed. Um, I know that sounds insane, but the diagnosis of something as terrifying as cancer, especially a rare kind of cancer that doesn't get the research money that it needs, or that it warrants, uh, that's diagnosed or was diagnosed as being, untreatable for the most part, except for the symptoms, and chronic. Uh, and boy, if you go through this gauntlet, then you certainly understand chronic in a whole new and different sense. Um, and terminal, that's not a good word unless you're talking about a terminal at an airport. But I don't know if I want to be the same as I was before. Uh, I had that moment of blinding clarity that helped me put things in perspective and helped me see the world as it really is, not as I thought it was, and recognizing the responsibility that we all have to try and help align those two visions. So I don't know about this normal thing, and I don't know about going back to normal, and I don't know about how wise it is to do that, or uh, how beneficial it would be. So right now, I'm going to stick um, with discovering and sculpting and uh, envisioning a new and better normal, and try and see if I can go ahead and craft that better normal into a life of service and a life of um, generosity, to pay back the huge karmic that I have. I want to talk about this normal, and I'm changing gears here. So if you don't want to hear about the events of the last, God, I don't know, 40 hours, less than 48 hours, turn it off now. Because this is another kind of normal. How many people were killed between El Paso and Dayton, Ohio? How many people were wounded, critically, seriously wounded? Two individual lone gunmen. We don't know much about the Dayton guy yet. We do know a little bit about the El Paso shooter. And I know there are gun rights people. I mean, I know there are gun rights people are going to have a nervous breakdown about this because they're going to think that the government's coming to take their guns away. I'm a gun owner. Guns for me fall into the category of I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. But I got to tell you this. I don't have a 30-round banana clip. I don't. I don't have the kind of assault rifle they're talking about. I don't have a drum magazine that holds 100 rounds. I don't defend the right to have that kind of a weapon so I can go hunting with it. If you need an AR to go hunting deer, then you probably shouldn't be hunting anything. What I'd love to see is I'd like to see the deer arm themselves so they could at least have a decent shot at fighting back, if you'll pardon the pun. I'm tired of listening to everybody talk about thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers are wonderful. They're personal. They're between you and your vision of whatever force orders the universe, whoever that God may be, or whatever that force may be. But thoughts and prayers are not going to eliminate bump stocks. And thoughts and prayers are not going to eliminate gun shows without regulation so that some jackass can go out in the parking lot and pick up whatever kind of assault weapon of war that they can without any kind of background check, somebody can walk out of a mental institution because they keep talking about this is a big mental health problem. I'm not sure it's a mental health problem. I think that there are people that are just flat evil in the world and that hate, that are so filled with hate that they just, this is their vision of the world. But some jackass can walk out of a mental institution, walk into a gun show parking lot, and walk out with a weapon of war, with an assault rifle. We got to do something that goes beyond thoughts and prayers. We've got to make a commitment to do something about this. You know, however many people died between El Paso and Dayton, Ohio, it was too many. And that doesn't include the maybe hundreds, you know, that died around the country from other kinds of gun violence. We don't need to take guns away to fix that. We don't. Maybe we need to address the fact that there's so much hate in the country. And regardless of what your belief is, you can't believe that that's a good thing, or you shouldn't. And we need to make a commitment to do something about this, and to do something about the hate speech and everything else that we're talking about. I don't want to. I'm going to run out of time here, and I can't do that, and I don't want to do that to you. But just think about that. Thoughts and prayers are great. Action's better. Okay, action's better. Let's figure out if we can do something about it. And if our people in Congress and the Senate are unwilling to do it because they're cowards, and that's what it boils down to, then maybe it's time that we as individual citizens took our responsibility to act back. Okay, calm down. Stay well. Take care. I'm sorry if that bothers you. I'm going to quit now. I'm going.